Hi, I'm Jason McClain, and welcome to Life Can Change. On this episode, we're going to talk about how to overcome your fears. Now listen, we've all got fears, and if we want to make a real significant change in our lives, we've got to realize that there are fears we all deal with each and every single day. The first one is, of course, fear of failure. We've always had that all day long. It's kind of rooted inside of us. And that fear of failure literally can turn our lives upside down and make everything more difficult. There's fear of overextending yourself financially because you've got your wife or your kids or you've got your business or your life or your friends. Something's going to come and hurt you financially. So we live with that fear. And overcoming that's very difficult for us to do. There's also the fear that you might be judged, that someone will look upon you in a way that you really don't deserve or that you're uncomfortable with. There's a fear of trading security for the unknown. And of course, there's a fear that success will alienate your friends. So all these fears are natural. We've all got them every single day. So the one question you've got to ask yourself is this: how do I overcome these fears, and how do I understand them, and how do I change my position on what I believe fear really is? So with all these fears, we've broken it down to 5 basic fears. You got to understand them, and when you understand what a fear really and truly is, you can overcome that fear, and you can change your position on what you think is really making you afraid so you can change your life. The first fear is that of extinction. You know that feeling you kind of feel when you look over a tall building or you're on the very top of a top floor looking out over the edge? And you kind of feel this, whoa, my goodness, if I go too much further over, I may fall over. That fear of extinction that makes you feel uneasy or uncomfortable, it's a natural human fear. So extinction is that anxiety that kind of runs in everybody. That maybe my sense of being here on this planet right here, I won't be here again. It's a natural fear we all have. The second fear is that of mutilation. It's that creepy feeling you kind of get when someone squishes a bug in front of you. It makes you kind of go, oh my gosh, the bug got squished. Or losing an arm or a limb or something of that nature. Losing a body part, that's a fear of mutilation. No one wants that one, so it's a natural fear to have that as well. Another fear, it's very natural for us to have a loss of our ability to move. It's called the loss of autonomy. And that basically is the fact that you might become paralyzed. You might get hit by a car and be spending the rest of your life perhaps in a wheelchair or in some other form that makes you completely uncomfortable. The perfect definition for a loss of autonomy is the fear of being immobilized, paralyzed, restricted, enveloped, overwhelmed, entrapped, imprisoned, or smothered, or otherwise controlled by circumstances beyond our control. In a physical form, it could be something like claustrophobia, but that's a natural fear that we all have at our 5 basic fears. Number 4, the fear of separation. In simple terms, the fear of abandonment, rejection, and loss of connectedness, or becoming a non-person, not wanted, not respected, or valued by anybody else. Getting that silent treatment imposed by a group. It's a devastating effect on everybody. So listen, nobody wants that fear of being set aside, that fear of separation. Honestly, it makes us just uncomfortable. That is a natural fear. And number 5 is the fear of your ego death. It's humiliation. It's shame. It's basically feeling as if you are the butt of the problem. You're the one who's now in trouble. In a simple definition, we write up and say, the fear of humiliation, shame, or an other mechanism so profound disapproval that threatens the loss of integrity of the self. The fear of shattering or disintegrating one's constructed sense of being loved, capability, or worthiness. This basically says you are no longer a sense of self. You're no longer important. You're now worthless. So with those 5 fears, you're naturally able to experience those items. But if you want to change your life, realize that those 5 fears are something everyone has. But the real fears that keep us from going where we want to go are the fears that we impose on ourselves, the fears that we create, the belief structures that we engage. Do you realize that most fears, most beliefs that we put together and create ourselves are manufactured out of our own mind? The assumption of what might happen in the future, the path of events that we create and foresee that have a possible outcome that paralyzes us in such a difficult way. In a pure definition, I say fear is not a bad thing. It's simply an anxious feeling caused by our anticipation of some imagined event or experience. You create the fear inside of you. So if you want to change your life for the better right now, realize that everything you believe, everything you're afraid of, everything you think might happen, might not. Therefore, life can be different. Circumstances can change. The fears you have are self-imposed. If it might happen, maybe it might not. This is a big ticket to changing your very existence of your very life here, right now, today. You see, fear is simply put, information. It's information for you and I to work with. I like to say it offers us knowledge and understanding if we choose to accept it. Knowing the future, none of us really have that ability, but knowing the future might be cool. But since we don't know it, we have fears that we create as a negative roadblock that will push us into a different direction. So when I say to you, your life can be different, when I say to you, life can change, I'm telling you one simple thing. You need to overcome your fears because there's something you created based on an experience or some other significant emotional event you had in your life. A very dear friend of mine, Bill Mitchell, who used to play for the New York Giants, he said to me when he was playing on the team, he says, you have to have short-term memory in order to make that next play. I love that statement all day long because it's so true. When you're in life, you've got to have short-term memory. Just because you failed last week doesn't mean you're going to fail today or tomorrow or the next day. The fears that keep us down are the one thing that truly hurt us from moving forward. So listen, to change your life, shake off the fear. Let's get short-term memory, my friend. Let's expire the idea that says it might go bad. So what if it does? Pick yourself up and keep going. This is the key to success. Getting going again after you fall down. You got to get yourself back up because until you do, you'll never, ever, ever achieve greatness in your life. So every failure creates a significant emotional event. And as we have these, fears are the little byproducts that keep us from going forward again. So to change your life, take the fear out. Take out the assumption you've got in your mind that it might go south. It might end up bad because you're manufacturing that. And you have the right to fear and the right not to be afraid. Make a choice. All of us have a choice every single day. Your fear is just an illusion showing you an assumed future based on an uncomfortable past. That's the truth. Remember this because this will really set your sight in motion. What are you afraid of right now? What are you afraid of on this very day, this very moment? Are you afraid that you won't have the money you need to get through tomorrow? Are you afraid that your spouse is not going to love you the way you love them? Are you afraid there's a divorce coming? Are you afraid that your kids won't accomplish the dreams that they've set out for themselves? What are you afraid of? Realize you're just simply imposing your beliefs, your factors of your thoughts onto a future that has not yet happened based on what happened in the past or what you saw happened before. And honestly, you don't have that right. So give up the right to be afraid. Give it up right here today because that's the answer to changing your life. Giving up your right to be steadfast in your fears. So make a choice and realize one thing. You don't know the answer. You don't know why it's going to happen the way you think it's going to happen or not happen. Make a choice to realize you don't know the future and be okay with that. Be okay with what the future holds because only then, only when you're truly, truly okay with what the future holds, whatever it might be, can you move forward to to changing your life for the better. I'm Jason McClain, and your life can change if you make the right steps to realizing that your fears are self-imposed. Your fears are there because of your past, but they don't necessarily have to control your future. Your life can be different, I promise you.